alien creatures jumping over at each other and then consuming each other and eating each other, and then the one shark flips out a like friggin' Dragon Ball Z sword. Like, dude, stay away. Let idiots like me, who've spent my whole life in this, who've got good enough to actually compete with these people, let us do it. Let us deal with the constant, never-ending changing market. You stay in an easy space that you can make easy money with because you're new, bro. That's what I would say to you. Like, too many people try to come into my end of the pond. It's like, bro, you're not going to survive here.
Would there be a counter-argument that maybe the $37 Pixel Helper course thing you could just give away for free on YouTube and trying to send people from that for value, or would you always try and have a paywall on everything on the front end?
Here's the thing, free content and low ticket content is almost the same thing. Like when I do my 5-day presentation, I could do it for free. But the problem is people that pay attention, and people that pay attention pay more. And they asked me, they said, you've seen thousands of webinars. What are the most successful webinars? Like, what's the most successful webinar? She's like, oh, that's simple. It's a webinar that shows you a path to success and then offers to do it for you or with you. That's it. But if you don't know how to make what you do sound amazing, dude, and then someone else who is not as good as you, who did not make as good of a product, who can't get the same results you can get, because they simply figured out how to explain it better, they beat you.
Okay, so we're here today with Dan Henry, one of the best internet marketers in the info space. He's been online for a very long period of time. I first saw you speak at Funnel Hacking Live, I believe, in Nashville. Get a very insightful talk, and today I want to pick your brains and all things marketing offers, which I think is really your speciality. You mentioned as we started this podcast about you having a very unique in terms of how you do one pitch a month to really try and convert an audience. You do that over a sequence of a few days. What does your process look like when you want to try and create like an irresistible offer?
Yeah, so for me to create an irresistible offer is different from somebody who may be new in the space, because the biggest mistake people make when they're new in the info space is they try to be friggin' Tony Robbins or a guru in the first 5 minutes. I just had a guy comment on my YouTube. He's like, Dan, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I want to copy your funnel and teach people how to do paid presentations. And it's some like 5-year-old from like Afghanistan or some shit. Okay. And it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you don't know how to do this stuff. That's the biggest problem in the info space is people don't know how to do things, or they want to be bigger than they are right out of the gate. And that's not how I got started, right? You're a gym guy, right? I'm a gym guy. If you see somebody who's big and they're benching 300 pounds, do you immediately get on the bench and bench 300 pounds?
No, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to rip your friggin' rotator cuffs off. You start lower like they did and work your way up. So when I first got started, I solved very small problems. I did not be like one of my first offers was in the Facebook ad space. I wasn't like, I'm going to make you a millionaire with Facebook ads. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, here's how to install your Pixel. Do you not know how to install your Pixel? $37. Here's a short course called Pixel Hero. Buy it. Boom. You don't have to be a guru or have a big brand to sell someone like even me today. I have a book called Big Fat Hooks, 297 hooks from the best sales videos of all time. You don't have to know who I am to buy that, right? Like, you just want the hooks. You just want the resource. But people, they try to sell these conceptual offers, like, oh, let me teach you how to be a this and it's like, nobody cares, bro. They don't know you. You're not Tony Robbins, okay? Nobody gives a shit about you. So sell something that people can buy even if they don't know you. That's the secret. And that's how I started. And so when you sell them the thing that solves the small problem and they work with you to solve that small problem, they're like, wow, this guy's good. He knows like a lot more than I thought. And now you can sell them the bigger problem, because now instead of relying on the experience they've heard you've had, they rely on the experience they've had with you.
Quick interjection into the podcast. If you're an online coach who's looking to scale the business, get their first 5K month, 10K month, or even get to 50 to 100K a month, we have helped hundreds of trainers do this at this point, and I've personally generated over $14 million online in the fitness industry. We have a proven methodology that works, provided you're willing to do the work. Now, if you want to book in a free business audit, we'll break down exactly where you are now, where you want to go, and what's currently holding you back. Hit the link below this video and below the podcast to find out exactly how we can help you. Pick a time, and we will walk you through the process of where your business is at and what exponential growth looks like. Now, back to the podcast.
Now, with social media, and say, for example, you talked about Alex Hormozy earlier on, he pushes the narrative of giving value away for free. Would there be a counter argument that maybe the $37 Pixel Helper course thing you could just give away for free on YouTube and trying to send people from that for value, or would you always try and have a paywall on everything on the front end?
So here's the thing: free content and low ticket content is almost the same thing, right? It's like when I do my 5-day presentation, I could do it for free. But the problem is people that pay attention, and people that pay attention pay more. So I'm not necessarily trying to make money off that. I don't make money off that. That pays for like video editors, Facebook ads, stuff like that. What I want is people to be locked in so that when I sell, they're actually into it. For instance, how many times have you seen a movie trailer where you see something you don't like and you're like, it probably sucks. You don't buy a ticket, right?
Yep.
It's happened, okay? But how many times have you bought a ticket to a movie, sat in the seat, got your drink, got your popcorn, you see something in the movie at some point you don't like, and then you get up and leave? Like, how many times have you got up and left?
Maybe once.
Blair Witch Project, right? I left that one. But the point is, you don't leave because you've paid to be there. So the act of paying doesn't necessarily mean, I'm doing this to make money. It means I want the butts in seats who are going to stay in the seat. That's why. See, when you do something like a webinar or a sales page, you have to be a really good marketer. Here's what I've learned. Not everybody is me. Not everybody is Russell Brunson. Not everybody is Alex Hormozi. I'm just going to say it. Most of you are the gum on the shoe of those guys' drivers, okay? You don't know enough to even compete at that level, okay? You just don't. The only reason I do is because I'm a nerd and I literally have transcribed hundreds of webinars and sales videos and sat there and studied them like a complete geek. Nobody's going to do that. If you sell fitness stuff, are you interested more in fitness, or do you want to sit there and geek out over sales videos all day? Like, if I were you, I wouldn't care about that. I'd care about fitness, right? Because you sell fitness stuff. I sell marketing stuff, so I geek out on it. So you're never going to, like, most people are never going to compete at that level. So I truly believe if you're going to play a game you can win. And for me, what I've noticed across 1,500 clients of mine is that the easiest way to get someone who isn't an amazing marketer to sell their stuff is to do a paid presentation. Because if you do something like a webinar, if it's good, it'll work. But if it isn't great, they leave. A VSL, if it isn't great, they leave. They say, well, Dan, why do you still do VSLs? Why do you still do? Because I'm one of the best in the world, dick. Like, that's why. You're not. So play a game you can win. When you do a paid presentation and people have paid to be there, you can mess up. You can go, dude, I've gone to the bathroom. My wife's bringing me coffee. I've had Zoom crash. I've had my clients literally screw everything up and still make 6 figures in an event because it's more forgiving, because people have paid to be there. So that, when I think about how to help people in the info space, I don't just think like, how can I teach them what I do? I think, how can I teach them something that'll work for them without having to be me?
And with a pricing model for that, what do you find is like the pricing range you find works best for these type of events? Anywhere
from $47. So on the lower end, $47 for general, $197 for VIP. Or if you're on the upper end, like a B2B, more money-driven space, $97 for general, $297 for VIP, or even more. Like I've even done $497 for VIP, and that still worked really well.
And what are you adding into that to make a VIP offer that people want to upgrade?
I just answer questions for an hour. Okay. That's it.
So they just access that, and they can just ask you questions.
Well, they get a recording in the event. Okay. The general admission people only get to watch for the week of the challenge. The VIP get the recording. They get to ask questions, and they get to watch obviously the Q&A. And what I've noticed though, which is interesting, is some people will buy a ticket to the challenge or to the event. The challenge is just one frame. You can call it a workshop, you can call it a boot camp, challenge. These are just words, right? It's a presentation, and it's a paid presentation. When people buy a ticket, sometimes they will buy every month, and they will attend 2, 3, 4 months in a row, because you say something different each time. And they'll end up buying maybe on the second, third, or fourth one. So some people don't realize that when you do one, like I had a client the other day send me a message, very first presentation, did $131,000 and change. Very first, right? Very first one. Now, if he keeps doing that, not only will he sell new people coming into the challenge, but the people who have already attended another one who attend again, that'll compound. Like there are people who go see Tony Robbins, because that's the model Tony Robbins is. If you think about it, some of the brokest coaches on the planet are friggin' life coaches. But he's a billionaire. Why? Because he does paid presentations. You go to one presentation that's like $5,000. I think it's, what is it? Unleash the Power Within?
Yeah,
Date with Death, whatever. And then he sells you into like a $10,000 one, right? And then it goes all the way up to his platinum partners. I've got a couple of clients that are platinum partners. I think that's like $80,000 or $150,000 or something. Boom, 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 up. Like when you think about it, one paid presentation sells you into another paid presentation, sells you into another paid presentation, right? But there are people who will go to the first one multiple times, and then on the second, third, fourth one, they're like, I need to upgrade to this one. And it's just this never-ending flow of people that will continuously ascend and upgrade. It's a great model.
When you teach this to your clients, like one of the things we try to do, say for a lot of our long-form content we give value for free, is like wow, not how. Like how do you try and give them value without giving them too much they can go
very simple. Value is 4 categories: what, why, when, and how. When you sell free, or when you give away free offers, you want to teach them what, when, and why. When you sell low ticket offers, you want to teach them what, when, and why, and a little bit of how. And when you sell premium offers, you want to teach them how, but just enough what, when, and why so that they have the context, okay? So basically you're teaching all of it. And most people would say, well, how am I giving value then, right? Well, if you had to get somewhere, right, and there was a road that was windy, and you only knew that road existed that was windy, you did not know there was another road, and I came along and I said, bro, there's this other road that's a straight line to where you want to go. It's over here. See that sign? It's right there. Would you not consider me giving you value to even let you know that that road existed when you did not know it existed before? Would you say that's value?
Yeah.
Exactly. So what most people don't realize is by simply explaining to them and telling them about a different way, or what I call the new path, that's value. See, I've had people come on my stuff and they don't even know you can do paid webinars, paid presentations. They don't even know about that. They're like, wait a minute, I can get people to pay to attend my sales presentation? I'm like, yeah. So just that right there. Or when I teach them my epic pitch framework, I'll teach them that. I'll say, look, these are the 4 things, no matter what script you use, no matter what framework you use, as long as a sales presentation, a sales video, an ad, whatever, accomplishes 4 things, it's going to be pretty darn good. And I call that my epic pitch framework, right? So when I let them know that, just by telling them that exists, they get value. I don't have to sit there for 3 hours and drill it down. They've already got value from me simply making them aware of it. So what you have to do in your content is you got to say, what do my clients not know that if I made them aware of it, they would really be thankful? And then how can I sell them something that allows them to act on that awareness? There was I think it was the CEO of Easy Webinar. He got interviewed by Founder. And they asked him, they said, you've seen thousands of webinars. What are the most successful webinars? Like, what's the most successful webinar? She's like, oh, that's simple. It's a webinar that shows you a path to success and then offers to do it for you or with you. That's it. But what's the webinar? Showing you the path to success, showing you what's available, making you aware, because most people aren't aware. You never want to teach somebody to do something better. You want to teach somebody to do, there is a different way to do something they were not previously aware of.
So you're essentially trying to teach them something new constantly. And do you think that's almost an angle from a marketing perspective? You constantly want to be like dangling a new carrot to try and bring people in. And if you're doing that monthly, you're dangling a different carrot every month, if that makes sense.
No, I do the same carrot every month.
So exact same angle.
Yeah, exact same angle. Yeah.
And then for you pulling people into this funnel, are you doing this primarily via organic, paid ads, or a combination of both? And what do you recommend to your clients?
So what we do right now is mostly ads, Instagram, and YouTube, okay? So the YouTube goes right to the challenge. It goes right to them to buy a ticket because YouTube is high-quality viewers, right? We've also started testing a page where I just explain the offer. I say, hey, if you don't want to wait for the challenge, but you want to just buy go here.
Skip the whole thing out.
Yeah, skip the whole thing. I don't know if it'll work or not. I literally just implemented that the other day, but I'm always a tester, right?
So this is one thing I love about you. Just do random shit, and sometimes it crushes. And I like that with the creativity.
Yeah.
How are you pushing that out to that audience though?
I just put it in the description.
Okay, like if this is literally the next step, if you want to skip.
Yeah, I say like, look, if you want to attend this challenge, go here. Do you want to skip that and have us just implement this right now? Yeah. Go here, right? And I'm testing. I'm a tester, right? Because what I've learned is most people suck at this. So if I can't go around modeling people, right? There's only like maybe I can count on one hand the amount of people I can model. So I have to be the innovator. You know, I'm just being real. Like maybe 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, the average info marketer was pretty decent, but today the average info marketer is shit. They're shit because dude. When I was coming up, I was reading Gary Halbert, Dan Kennedy. Like now, it's like, hey, who have you learned from? Russell Brunson, or somebody that learned from somebody that learned from somebody that learned from somebody that learned somebody that learned from Russell or me or somebody. Like they don't even know who Gary Halbert is. Probably, if you're listening to this right now and you don't know who Gary Halbert is and you're an info marketer, you got brain damage, dude. Like, how do you not know who that is? You know, like how do you not know these things? You know, that's the problem is people don't want to study their craft. But that's why I charge money because I'm like, all right, fine. You don't want to spend the 10 years studying your craft that I did. I'll package it up nice and neat for you, make it super easy for you. Just do this. Here you go. But it costs money. Or you can take 10 years to learn how to do it at a high level like I did. I've literally had people who knew jack come in and within 30 days, they were smashing it. Why? Because I made it simple for them. But in order to filter out all those years and years and years of hard work and study, down to something that, this is what I need for this, it takes time. It takes a lot of study. And the other problem is most people they think that you have to sell how to sell info to make money in info. But you don't. Like what I've seen across the board, the most successful clients, they're not even in that space. They're in the relationship space, the fitness space, you do multiple six figures a month, right? Yeah. Like, why would you switch to working out? Like, dude, this is another thing. I implore anyone who's new in this space, do not try to sell marketing. Okay? Here's why. In 5 years, will people still struggle with the same weight loss issues they have right now, the same problems, same pain points, right? In a marriage, will people still have the same problems that they have today in their marriage in 5 years? Yes. What about 10 years? What about 20 years? Parenting your kids. People who struggle to yell at their kids and they want to have a better relationship with their kids. Those same exact problems will exist in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. In marketing, in 5 minutes, the pain points change. You're jumping in to not only a red ocean, but a moving ocean where there's sharks and like alien creatures jumping over at each other and then consuming each other and eating each other. And then the one shark flips out a friggin' Dragon Ball Z sword. Like, dude, stay away. Let idiots like me, who've spent my whole life in this, who've got good enough to actually compete with these people, let us do it. Let us deal with the constant, never-ending, changing market. You stay in an easy space that you can make easy money with because you're new, bro. That's what I would say to you. Like, too many people try to come into my end of the pond. It's like, bro, you're not going to survive here.
Do you think the waters have got a chop here with that because of things like AI in advance of how quickly things are moving now?
I think people are just stupid. I think they look, again, guy walks into a gym, sees you. How much do you bench?
No idea.
You don't do bench. I don't do bench either.
No.
I do.
Yeah, fair amount probably.
Yeah, probably a lot. But so some skinny guy walks in and says, "Hey, I want to lift what you lift." What would you say to him? You call him an idiot, right? It's like, don't, dude. Here's some little weights. Work your way up, and in about 2 years, I'll see you. Okay. Nobody wants to do that in the info game. They want to jump right to the big weights.
And I see the same thing even with coaches we work with in the fitness space where they make 10, 15K a month and they want to try and launch a paid ad, like a paid VSL because one of our other clients is doing 200K a month. I'm like, you're going from chapter 1 to chapter 10. I'm too
old now. I got crow's feet. I'm just going to say it. If you do that, you're a moron. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to Amy Porterfield your ass. You're a fucking idiot. You're just stupid. Like, I mean, dude, I didn't even do that. Well, Dan, I want to do what you did. Well, I started super tiny, bro. How to install the Facebook pixel. I didn't make a big promise. One of my first offers, it didn't do great because I was new. It was how to start a blog. Actually, one time, check this out. I went on Craigslist and I said, hey, do you want to start a blog? I'm doing a free seminar at the Micro Budget Hotel on this date. Come. I had a bunch of people come to the Micro Budget Hotel conference room in Spring Hill, Florida. It cost me $150 to rent out the room for the day. I walked them through how to start a blog. I did not have a successful blog. I had a blog, but it wasn't super successful. I just knew how to start a blog. So the promise was how to start a blog, not how to become the biggest blogger on the planet. So they came, I walked them through, here's how you use WordPress, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. Oh, I promised you that you would start a blog before you left today. So everybody go to this link, which happened to be my HostGator affiliate link, which I got $150 per sale. I had like 30 something people sign up for HostGator hosting under my link all at the same time on that day. I left that event. I made $3,500 in affiliate commissions, no product, no business, nothing, gone, okay? Dude, if you were a nobody, if you didn't know dick, squat, diddly, you could literally go learn any software, WordPress, whatever, hold little virtual events, teach people how to do something, make a couple grand a day in commissions, and ride off into the sunset. But no, I want to be Tony Robbins in the first 5 minutes, okay? Stupid. That's what it is, stupid.
And then it's interesting you say that, because what I then see is multiple variations of like the blind leading the blind, because everyone's copying each other, but they're copying the wrong thing.
Yeah,
so
the info industry is a sea of morons right now. It's a sea of complete morons. And every moron is listening to another moron. And there's only like a handful of non-morons. And everybody's like, well, that guy's old, so he must not know what the new morons know. You know, like that's what I see. Is I talked to Iman Gadzi about this, is the face fatigue. People get used to seeing you. So they think you don't know anything. They think that the new guy knows something. And sometimes they do. Like Will's brilliant. You know, but Will's been in the game for years. Most people don't know that. But these new guys come along, they buy one course, and then they think that this guy is new, and he made 50 grand, so he must know shit. Like, bro, you made nothing. Like, you made nothing.
And I see that a lot in the fitness space as well, where people come in to try and teach B2B in the fitness space. And I actually looked on our Strike the other day. We've had 18,000 customers at this point. I was like, okay, that's quite a few. So I was like, we probably know what we're doing. And I just randomly looked up and was like, that's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to see how many of our competitors have also had 18,000.
But you know why that is, and how you can actually kind of mitigate that, is people oftentimes will want to buy from people that they can relate to more, that are closer to their level. So like, if you wanted to open a sandwich shop, and you just wanted to open a little teeny tiny family shop, you know, family owned little shop, right? And you had the choice between two people to mentor you. Let's say your neighbor over here owns 3 family run sandwich shops in their area. And then you have like the CEO of Subway. Who would you feel more comfortable with taking advice to open your little mom and pop sandwich shop?
Probably the smaller one, because that's more closer to your level.
Closer to their level, more relatable. They think that this person here, the Subway CEO, just can't possibly relate to their problems because they're on such a big level. And I realized this in the beginning. I had a super high conversion rate on my offers because I was just this kid, and I was like, bro, I just got done delivering pizza. I just made 100 grand. Like, listen to me. And everybody was like, oh, I remember delivering pizza. But when I got older and I started making tens of millions, it was harder for people to relate to me. They're like, well, he makes tens of millions. And dude, I make it doing the same thing that I taught you to do. When I started, I just keep doing it better and better. And I just keep doing it over and over. Like,
so with what you said there from a marketing perspective, do you think there's an element of trying to dumb things down as much as possible?
You have to.
From an offer
you
standpoint?
have to well, it's not just dumbing things down. You have to dumb things down to make it simple and understand, but you also have to be more relatable, right? Like, do you ever talk about, I don't know, were you ever like fat or anything?
Yeah.
You were? Okay. Have you ever done a reel or any sort of content or anything in your sales videos where you walk around and you're like, you know, it's weird. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't see this. I still see the fat version of myself. And I still feel fat sometimes because it's so hard to understand that, wow, I look like this. And I just want to tell you that if you feel like that, trust me, I know what that's like. You can get jacked. because I did. I mean, like right now, it's hard for me to even comprehend this. You can have this, but you just have to realize it's possible first. Like, have you ever done anything like that?
In iterations, but that's definitely something I need to focus on more. And something I do talk about a lot is me escaping my job of the 9 to 5 or when I used to be a real estate agent. And I storytell about that, about how I built a 8-figure
that's right.
business in a shed.
Your market is the fitness trainers.
Yeah. I talk a lot about how I built an 8-figure business from a shitty little shed at the end of my garden.
See, I wouldn't talk about that.
What would you lean into then?
So, okay, what was the first month that, like, what was the average amount you were making, or maybe
when you left your job?
Yeah, like when you started becoming a fitness trainer.
10K a month, maybe online, 10, 20K a month.
Yeah, see, that's a lot, bro. Like for most fitness trainers, like I know fitness people. I
was still working full time then as well.
You're Superman. Like, don't say that shit. Like,
so almost pull yourself down more from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, like for instance, I had a guy once who was a fitness trainer, right? And again, this is just how I think. I always think sell in bulk, get the mob mentality. Yeah. That's how I've always thought my whole life. And so I said, listen, here's what you do. Run a Facebook ad to a baby belly boot camp, okay? Have a bunch of women come to your baby belly boot camp for free. Do the boot camp. At the end, make a pitch to sign up for a whatever program to get rid of their baby belly. As long as one woman raises her hand and says, I'll do it, a bunch of other women will go, oh, she's doing it, well, I'll do it too, ha-ha, and they'll raise their hand. Mob mentality will take over, and they'll all buy because that one person buy. You just got to get one person to buy. Right? And it's true. It's how it works. People get FOMO. They get fear of missing out. And they say, well, and this is what happens psychologically. Someone will say, I'm on the fence about buying this, but I can't be the smartest person in the room. This lady, she bought, so she must have a good reason to buy. So screw it, I'm going to buy. That's how that works. And it compounds. But when you're on a sales call,
it's one-to-one.
It's one-to-one, right? So I told him to do it, and he signed up like a ton of clients. That event, he made like thousands and thousands of dollars in one day, and that's how I taught the fitness. That wasn't my main market. They just happened to come into my program. But, the point is that when you're telling a story about how you got started, the way to do it, I call it the scary bridge. Okay. You have to pick 3 things that you struggled with that your clients struggle with right now. Then you talk about all the crap you had to go through to fix it. And then you mention the 3 things that are the opposite of those first 3 things and how it is now, okay? Or how it was when you came out of that other scary bridge. At this point, psychologically, the prospect has 2 choices. They can either go, wow, I want to do what he did, so I'm going to go through the scary bridge with the gargoyles and the goblins and the lightning and all that. Or, oh, wait a minute, there's a helicopter up there? That helicopter will just lift me up and take me over the scary bridge to the other side. That helicopter is your offer. And a certain amount of people will opt for the helicopter ride to just go up and over so they don't have to go through the scary bridge like you did. Okay? That's how you make an offer. And so what you choose to be those first 3 and second 3 things has to be relatable to them. Most of the time, we think we have to tell our whole story, our whole journey, right? We have to tell everything. But if you were to watch a Hollywood movie, like, do you have a favorite Hollywood movie that is based on a true story?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think in that Hollywood movie, every single solitary fact, every single thing that happened is in that movie that happened in real life? Or do you think they pretty much just took out what they needed?
Probably adjusted it, yeah.
Yeah, adjusted it. Why? Because real life is complex and boring. You have to remove certain things and just kind of like condense it down so that it's consumable, so that people can understand it and process it. So your whole story, just take what you need to get the same point across, remove all the gunk and garbage that you don't need. And for you, if they're starting out and they like, what's their big goal? They want to make 10 grand a month?
10K a month, probably have some element of financial freedom.
Yeah, so 8 figures, I wouldn't be talking about that. I mean, maybe like 10% of the time, right? Or frame it right. Like, hey, our fitness business does 8 figures right now. However, what we did to get to our first 10K a month was vastly different than what we did now. So I'd like to send you over a Google Doc with the top 5 things we did to hit our first 10K a month. Comment this word, send it over. You send over a Google Doc with the top 5 things. In that Google Doc, there's a link to a paid offer, book a call, challenge, whatever. Boom. Now what happens is in ManyChat, when they comment the word, you say, hey, you reached out to get this Google Doc on the top 5 things. Yes, great. Enter your email and I'll shoot it right over. Great. Enter their email. Now you got an email subscriber. Okay? Then you send it over the ManyChat to that free thing. Now you've provided value, you've got an email, and now you can promote your main offer through email. Most of our ticket sales don't come right from the front end. A lot of them do, but most of them come from people who abandoned cart and we got their email, bought a book and we got their email, downloaded a free thing and we got their email, and then we promoted our challenge through those emails. That's where most of our sales come from.
Is there a reason you request the email in the chat rather than just sending like an opt-in page link?
Because it's less friction.
Okay.
Yeah. If I said meet me for dinner 10 minutes down the road, or I said climb up this mountain to meet me for dinner, what are you more likely to say yes to? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I can just zap it over to my email list. Why would I take them to a page and make it load? Because you got to think, when they were clicking off of Instagram to go to a page, now the page has got to load, right? It's got to display correctly. Some people have old-ass, broke-ass iPhones, so that doesn't work right. The link doesn't work right. Okay, whatever. And then they got to enter their email, and then, oh, maybe their phone gets messed up. Maybe their screen's cracked. It's just like too much shit going on in the world to take them to a completely different page when you can just get their email right there.
And then, do you think email marketing is massively underutilized then, with what you just said?
I don't believe in that. Oh, webinars are dead. They're not dead. Email marketing is dead. It's not dead. It's all bullshit. Like any tactic that you use, if you do it well, it's going to work. That whole concept of, because do you know why they say webinars are dead? Because you had too many morons doing webinars now. That's not that webinars are dead. It's just that you're noticing a lot of webinars aren't working because there's a lot more idiots doing webinars, okay? Because they won't study the craft. They'll just watch a webinar and go, I'm going to copy that even though I don't know anything about that offer and I'm a complete idiot, right? They just do it. Like, it's like, bro, do you even know how to do a hook? Most people, they don't know what a hook is. This is how I know if you're a marketer or not. So and I don't expect you to be a marketer, but do you know what a hook is?
Yeah, obviously.
What is a hook?
A hook is something the definition of it, I see a hook as a starting piece of content and then pull someone in.
That's the goal of a hook. Okay. What is a hook?
Enlighten me.
A hook is something that someone reads or sees that creates multiple burning questions in their mind that they cannot stand to not have answered, so they click. That is a hook. So whenever I create a hook, I always ask myself, when I do this or when I say this, what questions will be raised in the viewer's mind that they just, and are those questions like burning enough where it's like, I gotta have that answered, so they click. Then what happens next, I make sure to fulfill on that, or at least promise to fulfill on that, and then fulfill on that. One of my best YouTube videos was, I spent $500,000 on gurus, here's what I learned. When you see that title, you're like, why the fuck did he spend $500,000? What did he get? Did he get scammed? Did it work? Can I use any of this? Do I have to spend $500,000? Like, all these questions. And so in the beginning of the video, I'm like, hey, I spent $500,000 on gurus, and I'm going to share what I learned. I'm going to share whether or not I got scammed. I'm going to share what I got for that, and I'm going to teach you the biggest lessons that I learned so you don't have to spend $500,000, and I'll do it right in this video. When you hear that, you're like, I mean, that got, I don't know, I think it got like 100,000 views on YouTube or something like that. You hear that and you're like, shit, I gotta know. Like, I gotta know. You know, I gotta know. You know, that's what a hook is. It creates the I gotta know. And when you do that, that's when the goal of capturing their attention happens.
So it's a phrase I like, it's like curiosity gap. It's like driving that, of like what's on the other side of that video almost.
Well, no, it's not just that. Like, for instance, I've got a reel that went viral because I had a box, and inside that box, I had a brand new MacBook Pro. Well, I start the reel off pulling something out of the box, and at the top it said, I became a millionaire my first year in the info space. Comment your biggest questions, just like an engagement post, right? But as I'm pulling out the box, what do you think? You're like, what's in the box? So I'm pulling it out in the very first couple of seconds, and then when I reveal that it's a MacBook Pro, and I kind of like lift it up, your eyes go up and you see like, it can be visual. It can be a visual hook, but it can accomplish the same thing. What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, it's a MacBook Pro. Oh, he made $1 million his first year in info? What is my biggest questions about that? How did he do that, right?
And is that intentionally because the laptop is linked to starting a business?
Not
or
really.
That's what you had to live
with.
Okay,
yeah, it's not that deep. It's like, what's in the box? But I mean, it
could be intentional. That's why I asked.
I guess you could associate it with it because, you know, people who have money can buy MacBook Pros and people that don't probably buy PCs. So it's a little PC joke there.
Now, one of the things I know you've really mastered is selling from stage, which is obviously why webinars work really well for you. What's been your process in terms of learning that skill? And I know you've worked with a lot of people for that.
I have, but where I've learned the most is I have taken the top converting like speeches, the biggest TED Talks, webinars, and I download them, or I rip them from YouTube, or I download them, whatever. One great source is you go to ClickBank, right? You can see how much they make. Like you could be like, oh, this sales video for this stupid fitness pill did 50 million. Probably should watch that, okay? Might want to watch that. Like it literally says right there, this thing made millions of dollars. Like fucking watch it, you know? So I'll download it, I'll watch it, I'll transcribe it, I'll use AI to pull out certain things. I will take 10 videos from 10 different industries that all smash it, I'll transcribe them, then I'll be in AI, I'll be like, okay, what would you say are 5 commonalities between these videos that exist in all of these videos that can be repeatable? And I'll just sit there and study for hours upon hours. I've done this for years, not with AI. Before I had to literally transcribe the stuff and read it. Okay, and the thing is the reason why somebody says, "Well, Dan, why do you charge a lot of money for what you do?" Is because you ain't gonna do that, bro. I can do all that, and then I can condense it down and be like, do this, say this, here you go. I can give you a system, and you can go out and be super successful with it without having to go through that I did. Okay, because I learned some stuff, but I'll be honest with you, most of the stuff I bought on like webinars and stuff was trash. It's trash. Like, I don't care what webinar course you buy, it will never compete with you downloading 100 webinars and studying them. It's not going to compete unless you buy my stuff, because my stuff is based on that. But, you know, I don't know anybody else that does that.
Out of your working time, I'd be curious, how much time do you spend on researching things like that? Because I spoke to Sabri Subi and he said, like, for him and their team, they spend an entire week just planning out like what the hooks are going to be for their ads before they even start anything.
Well, he has a lot more infrastructure than I do because he has a big agency, so I could see where that would be useful for him. For me, and maybe it's just because my brain's wired this way, I come up with hooks really fast. And what I'll do is I will look back at previous content. Every reel we post, every video that we do, it's all in a spreadsheet with how many views it got, followers, clicks, sales. So I can just go back, look at my sheet, or I can download my sheet, upload it to ChatGPT, and be like, what hooks did I use that had the most result? And then I can look at those hooks and I can just make variation after variation. I work very fast. I mean, if you're planning a video out that you're going to spend multiple millions on, planning it for a week, of course, right? And I mean, sometimes I'll do that too. Like for a webinar, I do that. A webinar, or
that's more what I mean.
Yeah, it's more than a week. I mean, I've had webinars that I've spent 2 months on, just polishing, and then when I launched them, they smashed. And then I've had webinars that, you know, are hit or miss. Like I'll throw it together in a week, it'll smash or it won't. But generally, when I sit there and I really think about it and I polish it. But the other thing I do is I call the car part strategy. So when you manufacture a car, you would not take all the parts, the engine, the wheels, everything, put them together without testing them, see if the car runs, and then if it doesn't, try to fix something. You would test each part individually, right? So what I do is when I have a story, an analogy, a hook, I will start testing it in podcasts, conversations, stage, whatever. And maybe 10 of them, I'll try 10 of them, and out of those 10, 2 will really smash. I put those aside. I'm like, okay, these are the golden hooks, the golden stories, the golden analogies, right? And then when I go to build a webinar, I already have my car parts that have been tested. So it comes together really quickly. But that process might have been, you know, several months. And again, this is why I like teaching paid presentations, because you don't have to do that in a paid presentation, at least not to that degree, because people have paid to be there. It's more forgiving, you know. But I'll give you an example. There is a guy who, and really it only takes one good analogy, one good story that can blow you up. There was a life insurance salesman that lived in like Idaho or something, like completely just in the middle of nowhere. And he outsold all the big Manhattan life insurance agents because he had these wild analogies that he would use. He would just walk into a random elevator and sell someone life insurance. And his best one, in my opinion, was this. If you had a money printing machine in your basement, would you insure it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, aren't you that money printing machine for your family?
It's fucking good.
It's good, right? And I mean, imagine you get in an elevator. Imagine you just went to an office building and you just stayed in the elevator for 8 hours. And every time somebody came into that elevator, you just said that. You're going to walk away with multiple life insurance sales every day. And this guy was smart enough to just focus on the analogies. I call them agreement analogies. They're analogies that you cannot possibly disagree with. And when you agree with them, you have to agree to buy. You know, it's just, it's wild how just one good analogy can turn everything around.
And do you specifically engineer and then try and craft these types of analogies you then put into all of your pitches?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like,
what would be the best one?
The best one I've ever done? Well, I have several that I think are really good. But one of the best ones, actually probably one of the best ones, is one that I hate. And I feel like a moron every time I say it because it sounds stupid to me. It sounds incredibly stupid. But when I say it, people are like, ah. And those are actually the best analogies, the ones you hate. Because to you, they're stupid, but to other people that are they're just new in the game, right? So here's what it is. Every time I say this, it drives me nuts. But if you're walking down the street and you see two lemonade stands, and the lemonade stand on the left says freshly squeezed lemonade, and the lemonade stand on the right says yellow water with sugar, which one do you buy?
Lemonade stand.
You buy the freshly squeezed
fresh
lemonade.
Yeah.
But it's the same product. Like, it's the same exact product. They bought it from the same place. Why did you buy the freshly squeezed lemonade versus the yellow water with sugar? Why?
Because the packaging and branding around it.
Yeah, it sounded better,
Yeah.
right? So the thing is, people don't buy good products. They buy products that sound good. And if you don't know how to make your product sound as good as it truly is, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. You will never be broke if you know what to say, right? So that simple analogy highlights the importance of explaining what you do. You can work on the product. You can build the product. You can hire the right people. You can get funding. You can do all of these things. But if you don't know how to make what you do sound amazing, you're fucked, dude. You're fucked. And then someone else who is not as good as you, who did not make as good of a product, who can't get the same results you can get, because they simply figured out how to explain it better, they beat you. And how much does that piss you off? How much does it aggravate you that someone else that sucks compared to you, that you know you're better than, is outselling you simply because they know how to explain and make their product sound better?
What's funny about that is I've heard you say that exact expression on YouTube before, the lemonade stand thing. One of your videos, I can't remember which one it was. Yeah. But it shows how you recycle through those stories.
You recite, yeah. And then I also use, one of my favorites is that you're not in the whatever you do business, you're in the presentation business. Because how did Tony Robbins sell his life coaching to $1 billion? What does he do every event? What is that? It's a presentation.
Yeah.
And it's a paid presentation. Okay? What's the most valuable tech company of all time? A computer company.
Apple,
right? Who built up Apple and sold it to the world?
Steve Jobs.
What did Steve Jobs do every year to sell more Apple?
Public presentations.
Yeah. Okay. You see? So
it's another story you tell, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, dude, what is one of the worst real estate investments you could make? Like the worst?
Probably buying property in London at the moment. That's another story.
Timeshare.
Yeah.
It's stupid, right? Yet they sell tons of timeshare. How do they do it? Presentations. Okay. Most companies that sell products at scale, especially when they're in like disruptive industries, like Apple disrupted the market. How did they do it? They did it with presentations, one-to-many selling. That's what Steve Jobs did. They weren't cold calling people being like, hey, don't buy a PC, buy a Mac. Okay. They did presentations. Tony Robbins, presentations. So the point here is that if you realize that you are not in the whatever you do business, you are in the presentation business, then whatever you do, you'll be at the top of your game.
So in the paid presentations you do, you're pitching at the end and you dropping a link in the chat or something, you're trying to get people to sign up. What's your process from like the conversion mechanism once you've like greased their wheels?
So it depends on the price point, right? You can do direct to order page, like especially if it's only 5 or 10 grand, just go right to the order page. You don't need to do nothing else. If it's over 10 grand, you're starting to get to 25, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. What I like to do is have them put down a $1,000 deposit, and I say just text me, okay? And I don't have my other phone, but basically they'll go to the page. I'll break it down. I don't pitch during the whole event. I only pitch one time, and they apply to hear the pitch. I get them in a room. I don't even really pitch. I just read the offer page. I'm not selling. I'm just like, this is what you get. Because by the time they get to that point, they're already sold. You don't need to be like, bonus number 1, the total value.
Value stack and all that, RRP and
Bro, like, come on. So you just read the page and you say, if you're interested, put a $1,000 deposit down. Here's my private business phone number. Text me. If I don't think it'll work for you, I'll refund your money. If it will, I'll send you wire instructions or payment link instructions. So what happens is I get texts and I just close people over text. I literally say I'm not going to do a phone call. I'm not. If you want a phone call, buy from somebody else. I'm not doing a phone call, right? But the whole friggin' event, I showed them how they can sell without a phone call. So it's kind of incongruent for me to take a phone call. Like, why would you even ask me to take a phone call? That's not what you came here for, right? Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can send people to a call. You can send people to do a deposit with a call. You can send people to do a deposit with a text. You can send people just directly to a text. You can send people directly to an order page. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. That doesn't really matter, right? That's more lifestyle, more how you want to live your life. I don't want to take sales calls, and I don't want to manage a big sales team. I don't mind having one guy to help me out a little bit because, I'm in Dubai and a lot of people that buy are in America. So sometimes I'll have a guy answer these texts while I'm asleep so that they don't go cold. But that's only because of my situation that I live in Dubai, right? And the thing is like I've literally had people do full pays, 20, for various offers because I've done this for years, 20,000, even 50,000, right over text. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the wire instructions, no phone call. Boom. Easy. So I just like to figure out how to make a lot of money, make a lot of impact. Because even the people that don't buy on your paid presentations, if you do a good paid presentation, it really changes their life. They go out and they spread the word about you and your brand. So it accomplishes more than just, like how many people say, oh, Tony Robbins changed my life. How did he change your life? Oh, I went to Date with Destiny and I clapped and hugged a bunch of people I don't know and whatever.
High-fived.
Yeah, high-five them, whatever. But the point is that when you get a bunch of people in a room and you take them through a transformational experience, they remember you. They talk about you. So it's not just about making sales. You can build your brand. How do bands? Before the
touring,
touring, right? You're touring, okay? So you're building your brand. You're building a list, and you're making high-ticket sales if you want without sales calls, all at the same time. Like it's so much stuff packed into one thing. It's like I'm a big believer in efficiency. If I can accomplish 5 different things at one time, even if I have to do that thing live or once a month, I'll do it because it just accomplishes everything that I need to get done. Plus, if you want, when you do Q&A, cut that stuff up, put it out on your social media, and now you got reels. Like
film it from multiple angles, stuff like that.
I don't know if you got to do all that. Like, I think people are sick of that shit.
Okay.
I think just grab your phone. My best reels that get the most views from my phone. My team's over there editing them, putting captions and stuff, and they never get the views. I'll just have a thought, and I'll just be like, blah, and it'll get like, 100,000, 300,000 views.
Do you think people overthink that from a content perspective in terms of things have to be overly polished?
Yeah. You always want to zig when they zag. So if everybody's doing polished content, you should probably not do polished content. Like, look at Hormozy now. Like, he's not doing polished content anymore, at least compared to what he was. I mean, I like Hormozy. I'm friends with him. I've been friends with him for years. Sometimes we text. I can't watch his videos from like last year because it's like it's just like And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a brain aneurysm, right? And he talked about that. He's like, this stuff's way too edited, and he made it more chill. So even he realized it, right? And I think that then that worked because everybody else was doing one type of content. Then he comes out with this super choppy, fast-paced, which makes sense because if he's talking very fast, you have to keep rewinding it and watching it over again to
pick everything up,
pick what he said. So then, retention, the views, like when you watch something multiple times, the algorithm makes you go viral, right? But I think he got so popular that people's brains got fried, and now he's like, "Crap! I have to zig from my own zag," And now he's doing something.
As in, everyone was mirroring and following what he was doing.
Yeah. That's another problem with succeeding as a marketer. Like if you succeed as a business or a fitness coach or a personal development,
I've seen this so much.
Nobody knows what you're doing because you're not like, look what I'm doing to sell you, right? You just succeed. But when you're a marketer, you're like, hey guys, I made $1 million this month doing this. You should do it too. And then everybody does it, and then it's like, now everybody does it. It's like the most ridiculous business. I cannot listen. If you're a marketer, be smart enough to not sell marketing. I started another business in a completely different market. It has nothing to do with business, money, nothing. The thing's exploding. Because, dude, it's like Tom Brady playing. Like, Perry Belcher said this to me once. He's like, Dan, you're one of the best marketers in the world. Why do you sell to marketers? Go into a market where nobody knows this stuff and smash, right? Like, imagine if if somebody said to Tom Brady, hey, you can play Little League football and get paid the same. He'd go in and he'd start drop kicking children into the air. He'd be like, fuck you, bam, right? And he would just dominate, okay? He would do that in college ball, all right? And he would literally make millions of dollars. Like, it'd be a no-brainer, but you can't do that. He's not allowed. He's a pro NFL player. Well, not in marketing. You're allowed to go into other markets being a pro marketer and dominate. So, I've started these other businesses and just smashed it because nobody knows what you're doing, So when you learn marketing, my biggest, like if I could talk to you like you were my son or the audience like they're my son, I'd be like, son, keep it to yourself, okay? Go into a market where nobody knows this stuff, shut your mouth and just succeed and don't tell a soul. That would be my advice.
It's funny, I remember Jason Capital saying something very similar to that at an event I was at, and I was like, the biggest mistake he made was telling too many people what he was doing.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but I'm in too deep now.
Yeah, I think I probably am at this point. I think it's once you've gone one way, probably branded yourself one way. It's difficult.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Big pivot out of that.
Well, if you ever see me I always said one day I might shut all my funnel dials and redirect it to a single page where I'm like na boo boo, and then that's when the other business went catabolic,
exploded.
But no, I like teaching this stuff because I can't get enough of it out of my brain for just my businesses. So I do like somebody, I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like. I like it when somebody has a good product, but they're just terrible at explaining it. And so they really can change lives. They really can do good for people, but the only thing holding them back is they just don't know how to pitch it. They don't know how to get eyeballs on it, and they don't know how to get people to buy it. I like helping those people. Who I don't like helping is the douchebag who's like, oh, dance does XYZ to make money. I don't know, dick diddly squat, so I'm going to do XYZ too to make money, and then I'm going to buy dance. Dude, one time, I had somebody buy my $10,000 program years ago, all right? And this program no longer exists, but I was on these calls. This guy comes on, and he's like, so Dan, I need your help really bad. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why I'm here. What do you need? Well, I'm struggling to get clients for my offer. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your offer? It's how to get clients for coaches. I'm like, who's your market? And he's like, coaches. And I'm like, so wait, so you're a coach and you teach other coaches how to get clients? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, how many clients have you got? And he's like, well, none. I'm like, so you don't know how to get clients? And that's what you sell? He's like, yeah, well, I figured you would teach me that. I said, no, dickhead. I said, I'll teach you how to sell your offer. I'm not going to teach you how to sell my offer. What's wrong with you? Like, you just came in here. You think because you paid 10 grand, that means that I'm going to teach you how to do something that you don't know how to do, that you've already promised to do, that you're basically scamming people. That's what you think? I was pissed off. I refunded him his money. I hate that. It's like, dude, learn something valuable, which doesn't take long. you can, you know how I paid my way through college? I went out and I learned a software, a home production software. Like, you know, if you're a home guitarist or songwriter, I learned that software. I went on Craigslist. I said, for $50 an hour, I'll get on Zoom and I'll show you how to set up your software. I was booked out the whole week and I paid my way through college. If you have no skills, if you have nothing, you can go learn any software that people struggle with. QuickBooks, home production software, account, whatever, landing page software. And you can say, hey, for $1,000, I'll set it all up for you. I'll get it all good to go, get it all optimized. Hop on Zoom, I'll show you how to use it. What person would not take that offer? Like, think of have you ever had a software that you're just like, oh.
All the time.
Okay, if I said...
And I could throw money at people to try and solve it.
Exactly.
And I've done that loads of
Exactly.
times.
If I said, just give me $1,000 and I'll hop on and do it. Dude, you could literally, right there, you could learn that software in 2 weeks. The easiest offers to sell are selling people on how to do something that they don't want to take the time to do themselves or research how to do themselves. Go learn any software and just say $1,000, $2,000, I'll set it up for you. Done. There's your offer. There's your business. Why you got to come into my space? You don't know shit about what I do. You haven't bled what I've bled. You haven't, just sell something. And that's easy. You have your whole list of people. You go into any group, any Facebook group of those users, boom, there's all your ideal clients. Why are you trying to sell what I sell, you moron? What are you doing? You know, that's who I don't like. There's so many available offers that with this much skill, you can learn to make money. But you want to come in because you don't see the 10 years of blood, sweat, and tears that I've did. So you want to sell my offer that you don't know how to do, that you're not capable of doing, and you won't be capable of doing for at least a few years. And you want me to then hand the keys over to you. Fuck you. That's what I say. Fuck you right in your fucking pie hole. All right? That's what I say. You're what's wrong with this industry. You're the whole reason everybody's struggling. You suck. And I hope you get a curable disease just so it hurts a little bit, but ultimately you'll be okay.
So what you just said there, I think is the epitome of why the info space has so much skepticism in it, because people are selling dog shit of a thing they've never actually done themselves.
Dog shit.
So for anyone who's listening to this or watching this, what should someone look for in someone to actually help them do something?
Okay, number one, has that person actually achieved what they're claiming they can help you achieve? Or if they're claiming to help you solve a problem, have they solved that problem, and have they solved that problem for other people? You don't necessarily have to have a bazillion testimonials, but you have to understand they can solve the problem. And do they have content out there that is low priced or free, that when you consume that content, it doesn't just convince you of something, but it actually solves a problem, right? Like for me, when I sold that Pixel Hero course, most people did not know how to install the Facebook Pixel because Facebook's documentation on it was terribly confusing. I made it so simple that they could install it in a few minutes. So if they believe that if I can do that for them, I can probably make the other stuff simple, right? So what I would say is make sure that whatever you consume from them is actually, maybe it's not getting you an immediate result, but it's at least allowing you to understand it better. Because if you don't understand it, you're not going to get the result, no matter if that person is good or not. So I would say they've got the result for themselves, they've got the results for other people, and they make it simple enough for you to understand so that you can get the results. Because they can be the best in the world. If they can't simplify it for you and make it usable, it's not going to work.
So this is one of the things I intentionally did with everything we do in our core section of our program, is make it as short as fucking possible. Because I've hated where I've joined mastermind mentorship. The video is 50 minutes long and there's 1,000. I was like, dude, I just want a fucking answer to this one question. Yeah. So all the videos are 2 to 4 minutes long of press this button, press the done. Yeah. Bro,
that's it. I'll tell you a funny story. You know Sam Ovens?
Yeah. So even his YouTube videos are fucking 3 hours long.
Dude, I sent him a message years ago and I'm like, hey, I want to buy something from you because I think you're smart. And he's like, okay, well, I have this $6,000 or I have this $2,000 thing. I'm like, I don't need that. That's bullshit. I need something bigger than that, right? So he's like, well, I have this $6,000 thing. I'm like, well, do you have a mastermind? And he's like, yeah, but I think you should buy this $6,000. Well, actually, I don't know why he said this. I would have taken the money, but he said, I was like, let me buy your $30,000 mastermind. And he's like, no, buy the $6,000 one first, and then if you need more help, buy the 30. I was like, okay. So I buy the $6,000. I go in one video, and he's like, talking about a landing page. And by the way, I love Sam. Sam's a good friend of mine. He's amazing. I'm just telling you how I bought, right? So I go in and it's like explaining like a landing page or something. And it's like a 3-hour video on quantum physics. And I'm like, I don't fucking care about quantum physics. Like, just tell me how to do the fucking landing page. And I literally messaged him back. I'm like, bro, I don't want to watch a 3-hour video. Just let me give you 30 grand so I can fly to New York, sit there and learn directly from you. I'm not going to sit here and watch this. Like, I'll get on a plane and I'll come to New York so that I'm forced to sit and listen and interact. But I'm not going to sit here in my chair for 3 hours watching a video. Like, and then every video is 3 hours. Just, here's the 30 grand. Fucking take it, right? So he's like, okay. So he takes it. So I fly to New York. I never watched none of his shit. Nothing. I still have those big consulting books, never opened them, never looked at nothing. I had a few conversations with him, and that's all I needed. That's it. And one of the best pieces of his advice that he gave me was, because I was struggling. I was doing like $250 a month, and I couldn't break past $250 a month for like a year. And then I started like creating more products, which actually made me make less. And I'm like, what should I do? And this was when I was like super young. And he was like, in how many products do you have? And I'm like, 10. And he's like, delete 9 of them. I'm like, delete 9 of them? He's like, yes, just focus on one. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, why? And he's like, he explains to me like, you're basically you're spread too thin, right? So I go back, I delete 90% of my products. Couple months later, I was at 500 grand a month. And I didn't do it. He didn't say do anything with a landing, but like it was just my focus, right? And so sometimes you need to pay a lot of money just to sit in a room and hear somebody that is you respect tell you, "Hey, dickhead, do this thing you already know you should be doing. You stupid fuck." Okay, like, and that's what you need, and that's what I need. So, yeah, that's what really got.
It's funny you say that. 'Cause I had a similar experience with Alex Ramosi in Vegas recently, where I was like, oh, we want to scale. Do I do this ad strategy or do we focus more on organic content? And he's like, fucking neither of them. You just need to fix your churn rate. I'm like, okay. Because like naturally, like marketing, I'm like, I just want to fucking market more and sell more people. But it's like you're losing people at the back end. You're not sending people. So it's like,
he's always, I love, he's always very direct.
And I was like, fuck, this is really, really obvious. And like when you look in hindsight, I think your brain sometimes has cognitive bias of like you want to fix the problems you want to fix rather than the shit you don't like dealing with sometimes.
Well, it's also that you're too close to it, right? It's like, do you ever play golf?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you play golf, you know how when you have a flaw in your swing, because you're so close to the club, you really can't see what your body's doing. If somebody stands 10 feet away, watches you swing, they're like, oh, you're turning your foot that way. You couldn't see that because you're too close. Somebody who may not even be as good of a golfer as you can stand 10 feet away, look at you, and go, oh, that's the problem. So that's why, like, for me, dude, I can look at your offer, I can look at this guy's offer, that guy's offer, this business, that business, and in like 5 seconds, I can fix it. But when I look at my own stuff, it takes like 5 weeks because I'm just too close to it.
You're almost too much context.
Yeah, you just have like, because you're even me, like the hardest offers I work on are my own offers, right? When I work on somebody else's offer, it's effortless. I got a guy right now who does $2.5 million a month with a paid presentation, automated every month, and he sells like how to start a bookkeeping company. And I talked to him about it, and see, he paid me 50 grand. He came out to my house. I helped him write a book, and I said, make the presentation based off the book. And he did everything I said. And literally, I met him up, and I talked to him about it. And I was like, man, you're really pumping numbers. He's doing more than I am. And he's like, well, I did this, and that, and I kept it simple, just like you told me. And then in my head, I'm just like, yeah, I should probably do that myself. Like, you know, because like you get wrapped up in your own shit. So that's why it's so important to have somebody else look at it and go, dude, snap out of it, you know?
And that's why I find I spend most of my time doing when we're coaching our clients is stopping them doing dumb shit they shouldn't be doing. To start to wrap things up, what would be the best piece of advice you'd give to anyone in terms of with their business if they're at a point where they are stuck or stagnant?
Well, I'll give you the same advice that you would hear in any football movie, in any, like, go back to basics, right? At the end of the day, your head gets filled up with garbage. It's because you've lost sight of the basics, period, okay? Pick a market. What is a problem that they have that keeps them up at night? If they're not thinking about it, if they're not talking about it, if they're not losing sleep over it, it ain't a good problem. And then think to yourself, how can I solve that problem? And if I were to map out how I can solve that problem, the path to success, point A to point B, what would that map look like? Explain that map to your audience. And then say, listen, do you want help? Do you want a guide to go through this map, right? Like if I tell you, hey, you should charge for webinars, you should do them over the course of 5 days, and you should make sure to teach principles instead of tactics, go. That's the path to success. And I explain all the reasons why. Hey, people that pay attention. Hey, mob mentality, all this stuff. I've told you exactly what to do, but wouldn't you still like my help with it? Like, wouldn't you like my team to review every single, the title of your presentation, the outline, the funnel, everything, and sign off on it every step of the way so that when you launch it, you know for sure you did it right? Would you like that? Most people would say yes. Okay, well, that's my offer, you know? Like, that's what we do in the offer. We literally, like, you go, okay, offer messaging, idea for the presentation, titles, outline, funnel. My team literally goes in and looks at all that and checks it off, checkbox it off all along the way. And then I get on calls and help you with it. Like it's you got a guide down the map. You can go down the path yourself, or you can have a guide take you, right? That's how you frame it. And then for the people who want a guide, you sell them. For the people that don't, great. I hope you got some value. Tell your friends.
And that's where I think people who think they either pay with time or they pay with money, it's just you choose which one.
Oh, you're going to pay. You're going to pay with time or money. I was smart enough. When I first got into the info space, I bought a book from Russell Brunson for $7. I got in deep. I started making money. I did not take that money and pay my bills. Dude, I had bills. Like, I literally had an IRS bill for $250,000. You want to know what the most criminal organization in the world is? The United States Internal Revenue Service. I own a bar and restaurant, and they sued me, and they told me that they were not going to allow any of my expenses: liquor, food, rent, electric, employees. They said, you have to provide receipts for all of this. I'm like, what, you really think that I owned a bar, I never once bought a bottle of liquor, you never once paid rent for it? Like, what are you talking about? And no, we don't care. You have to provide all these receipts. So I call up my accountant. Hey, I need all these receipts. She had them all. No answer, no answer, no answer. I get a message from a friend of mine. Hey, she died. She passed away. The family cleaned out her house, took all of her. I never could get the receipts. So I had a multi-year battle with the IRS. $250,000. I mean, that's not, like, to me, that's unfair, right? Because I was in these brick and mortar business. I had tons of brick and mortar businesses before info, right? And when I started my info business and it took off, I was able to hire a lawyer, reduce that bill, pay it. But I said to myself, I'm never going to get in any of those businesses again. I love the info business because I have ultimate control over it. My entire business is on a laptop. You can't be coming in here to my restaurant there. Oh, you need this license. You need that. You need this. Nope. It's info. Like, it's literally like I have the maximum control. I can move to Dubai. I can run my business from here. Fuck off. Like, you can't touch me. That's why I like the info game, because I have the most control over it of any business. Any other business, people got their hands in your pot, you know? And so the point I'm trying to make here is that, you know, this space for me has been amazing, because to me, there's no greater thing that you can do than pass down knowledge. If you really think about it, starting with the writings on the cave walls, you know, and the hieroglyphics, how has humanity survived? One generation passes on what they learned to the next, and that generation passes what they learned on to the next. And if you truly know something that can help people solve people's problems, make their life better, pass that knowledge down, do a good job, charge for it. You'll give them a great life, you'll build yourself a great life, and you'll have the maximum control over your life. That's why I love the info business.
And I think it's some great advice to finish up on. Big thank you for your time, Dan. Where's the best place for people to find out more about you?
You can go to getclients.com, and you can also hit me up on Instagram at Dan Henry, all that jazz.
I bet that was an expensive URL.
Getclients.com?
Yeah.
No, I negotiated it. It was like $20,000, and I negotiated, which I still think is cheap, and I negotiated it down to $6,000.
Yeah, hustling.
So.
Big thank you for Dan. If you took value from the podcast, make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe, and drop any comments below, and we'll see you next video very soon.